Welcome to Life Coaching for Dance Studio Owners. Each week, we talk money, mindset, and self-care to help you live a more peaceful life and lead a more profitable business. Let's get started. Hello, my friend. Today, I want to talk about something that is very special to me, and that is the pillars of my coaching program. Now, in your studio business, you likely have company values, you've got your mission statement, your vision statement, and this is kind of like that. So, the reason why I felt like it was important to share these pillars of my coaching program is because, one, I think that it might inspire you to think about what are things that you value? What is most important to you? Oftentimes, when I talk to studio owners, they are weighing the options between two or three things, right? They're trying to figure out which direction to go in. And oftentimes I ask them to think about which decision best aligns with your values. You see, decision making can actually become easier when we are clear on who we are and what we stand for, what's important to us. And so from time to time, it's important to remind ourselves of what our values are. What do we value? How do we prioritize one thing over another? How do we make decisions? How do we decide if it's worth giving up X in order to get Y? So I want to dive into this. And when I talk about these things, remember, this is an example, obviously, in my coaching program, but it can apply to your studio. So, first, I took So, first up, I want to start with where my pillars come from. For me, I took what my tagline is to help you discover your path towards peace and profits. Because for me in my own journey, that was what I wanted the most. I wanted peace in my everyday life, and I wanted a company that was profitable, a viable product, something to be proud of, having a way to not only earn money, but have enough to invest in the future to create a sustainable company, to be able to do the things that we dream of doing one day, and to come out of this kind of subculture of the dance industry where we kind of glorify being broke. I didn't want that. So, I decided to make my tagline about peace and profits. When it came time to developing the pillars of the program, it was a natural progression to then make these things part of it. So, first, I talk about peace. The peace pillar reminds us that peace comes from relationships. Relationships with ourself, with our employees, our family, friends, and a higher power or God. And when you have a relationship that is not in a healthy place, you will find that you are lacking peace. Maybe you got into an argument with your best friend and things didn't settle well, and there's kind of a rift in that relationship. And until you handle that, it will still be carried around as emotional baggage, and you're not able to resolve that. So you might lose sleep. You might think about it when you're trying to enjoy other things. You see, peace comes from relationships. I also want to say that it's not just friends and family, those so close to us. It can be the people we work with, and if you believe in a higher power, it can be that too. Any type of relationship that is in your life has the ability to help nurture peace. And likewise, if that relationship is not in a good place, it can steal away your peace. So within the peace pillar, we respect our relationships and we value people first. People before the profits, people before the drama. We value the people before the money. Now, that's not to say that the money part isn't important. It's that our values are on caring about one another. When we say that we value people first, we mean that we will consider and prioritize relationship over these other things that can come up. So while you might have a wonderful opportunity, maybe it involves you having business ethics and caring about relationships with people. And so you manage that situation with that relationship before this opportunity. Maybe in respecting relationships and valuing people first, you think about, you know what? It's important to me that my students feel valued, that my students feel that they're being cared for. And so I'm making a decision to put my students first because if I do this thing over here, it might cause them to feel like they're not valued, that maybe this teacher is playing favorites, right? So now I want to move on to the second pillar. The second pillar is profit. Profit comes from wise decisions on pricing, saving, spending, and generosity. When I talk about profit, there's certainly the financial gain. There's also the ability to give back. So we are getting something and we're giving something in that process. Profit wasn't designed to just accumulate and you never do anything with it. Profit is something that you use to invest. Maybe it's investing in people, maybe it's giving salary increases, maybe it's investing in your building, investing in new equipment, and maybe it's being philanthropic and offering scholarships to those students who are in need. Maybe it's an outreach program, something for children with special needs. Generosity is often forgotten. And what happens when we put generosity in the peace pillar, because we're thinking, I want to put people first, what happens is we can sometimes lose sight of the financial aspect. We can set ourselves up to be taken advantage of. When we think about it and put generosity and philanthropic things in the profit pillar, we think about how it comes from wise decisions. You'll remember a few episodes back, I talked about how John Wesley said that we should earn all we can, save all we can, and give all we can. When you put it in that perspective, now you understand that your money decisions are designed to draw out wisdom, to draw out sustainability, to draw out philanthropic endeavors. And so when you think about profit coming from wise decisions, you think about, well, if I'm not profitable, I do need to work on my saving. I need to work on my pricing. I need to work on my expenses. I need to work on how much money I'm spending on this teacher who maybe isn't even a good fit for the company. I need to maybe consider combining classes to make something more profitable. I need to consider how much money do I need to have in surplus, and out of that abundance, I am able to give back to my community, to people in need, or to causes that are important to me. That's our peace and profit pillars. Now, you might have also noticed that within our logo, we have a compass. And when I think about this coaching program, I think of it as we are your guide. I guide people, I guide other studio owners to the clarity that they're seeking about what their role is, their selves as a leader, what is happening in their business? Is it moving in the direction that they want? Clarity on their goals, clarity on their action plan to get to where they want to be. And as such, we use the compass to guide us there. So, my third pillar is actually in two parts. There's the compass and there's the clarity. The compass reminds us that we are designed to journey through life with others. We're designed to rely on others and use resources wisely. How many times have we toiled and toiled trying to get something done, and then someone comes along, helps us out, drops a wonderful mic drop moment on us, and suddenly it's done? How many times do we resist asking for help to get volunteers or staff to pitch in to help get the work of the studio done, only to find that they're happy to do it? You see, we humans are designed to work with each other. No Fortune 500 company is successful through one person's efforts alone. There's people who are staff, there's people who are coaches, mentors, sponsors, advisors. There's so many people that provide value. And as we serve others, others serve us. That's the compass pillar. And then lastly, we have the clarity. Clarity comes when we take the first step in a new direction. And this is the key thing, right? You take your first step in a new direction, you don't actually know what's at the end of that path. You don't actually know what that path is going to have in the way, what kind of roadblocks, what kind of shortcuts or detours are going to be involved. But clarity comes when you make the decision to take your first step in a new direction. Your path has led you to be exactly where you need to be. You need to stop judging yourself for where you're at or where you're not. You are on your own unique journey, and when you look towards clarity, you need to take a moment, pause, and decide what is the next right step at this moment. This is not a time to judge yourself or to criticize yourself for what is going on. This is the moment to just act. Make the decision to go in a new direction. So when I talk about this clarity pillar, we value truth. And when I say we value truth, that means we do our research, we do our due diligence, we look at data, we look at facts, we look at undisputable information. We can't act on feelings like, I feel like my customers won't like that, or my staff I just feel like that's not going to work. They're not going to want to put in extra time. We need real facts. It's not enough for the office manager to say, oh, the customers don't like this. How many? How many people? How many people have raised their hand and said, no, I don't like this? Ask the questions. What are the names? Who are the people? Because oftentimes when you get into this mindset of, I think this, or they won't like this, or the customers won't like this, or they'll say this, these objections that we create in our mind are just that. They're created in our mind. One time, one of my staff, I won't say their name, one of my staff said, starting classes in August, I don't know, the customers might want to start in September. And I said, okay, who? Well, I talked to this one lady. Okay, who else? And as it turned out, there was exactly two. Exactly two families said starting dance class in August won't work for them. Out of the entire student body, that's less than 1% of the total population. And this is where we have to be careful not to make decisions from these feelings, emotions, and these objections that we create in our head. So, this is why I say we value truth and taking leaps of faith. That's when you go ahead and try something that's been on your heart and mind, even if you don't know how it's going to work out, even if you're scared you're going to fail, you still take that leap of faith. Why? Because we don't know how until we do. Did you know how to open a dance studio and hire staff and run recitals and travel to Disney and do all the things? No, you learned by doing. That is the human experience, and it is so important to remember that. So many times, fear just fills our mind and holds us back from really living the life that we want. It is important to look at the truth, take a leap of faith, and remember, we don't know how until we do. So, that, my friends, are the 4 pillars of my coaching program. I absolutely love them because not only do they tie in to what I do every day with my coaching clients, it's something that I live by. It's something that I believe to be true. If you are interested in pursuing major change in your life, in your business, it's time to think about what your values are. Take a moment and figure out what your pillars are. This will help guide every decision you make day to day. This is something that will help you drive innovation. This is something that will help you to say no to opportunities that you don't really want to do, but you feel the pressure to do. Until next time, I wish you the best. Hey there, if you're finding value in our podcast and want to dive deeper, I'd love to work with you through my coaching program. Together, we can tackle the challenges of running a dance studio and find your path to peace and profits as a business owner. Visit gingerhaithcox.com/coaching and get started today.